talking about today, because again, when we come to down to earth and in concrete life, for example, to talk to governments, we hear sometimes when German politicians, German experts are traveling around, and the Thai side, for example, is asking about expertise and how we could help when it comes to building up nuclear plants. So I just as somebody who has no idea, would like to ask, would that be a contribution to the problem we are facing? Anybody is daring to answer?
I don't know about daring, but I'll go for it. Challenge me by name. Or you said I haven't kind of revealed my stand. Actually, when I quit my day job to do what I do now, I was dead set against nuclear as a solution. The reason being that we would be exchanging one externalized cost for another. An externality is something that if you don't have to recapture in your economic model, you don't simply. It used to be that if you wanted to dispose of toxic waste, you dumped it in the river out back. Nations have gotten wise to that and passed laws. You can't do that anymore. You have to pay to have it disposed of safely. Well, in a closed system as the Earth is, I don't know if there's any safe disposal of toxic wastes. So I was dead set against nuclear. But then someone who I look up to as a mentor, Dr. James Hansen, issued a paper about a year and a half ago, in which he said that he hoped environmentalists did not monolithically continue to oppose nuclear as a solution, but he said not the old style of nuclear, which is producing long-lived wastes, where the externalized cost is the 100,000-year order of magnitude for the toxicity of the waste, which we are offloading onto the future. But he introduced the idea of two technologies, and I'm not sure, because the name was not the same as what the gentleman mentioned earlier, maybe same technology, different name. But he mentioned two forms of nuclear energy, which were not yet ready for prime time, which did away with the waste, or did away with the magnitude of the waste problem, where it took currently long-lived wastes, generated fuel, and in so doing reduced the half-life of the waste from hundreds of thousands of years to hundreds of years. Great boon. So I'd like to see that one in practice. And then the other one, which actually I think was liquid thorium, was the name for that, which also produced a waste which was relatively short-lived half-life. So I'm not against nuclear, but I'm against the old style of nuclear, which produces wastes that are children's to the 10th order will still be dealing with.
Thank you very much. Scott, anybody wants to add?
I don't quite agree that reducing from hundreds of thousands of years to a few hundred years is sufficient as a method of technology for producing power. What I was referring to was rather the method which has been proposed by Bill Gates, and I understand also financially supported by him, is where you take the waste, you close it in completely, have a so-called traveling wave reactor, and that produces no waste at all. It uses waste, and it is in a closed system, so nothing can ever come out of it, and it uses up it over 30 to 60 to 90 years, depending on the quantity. And I mean, that has a total zero impact upon the environment. I think a couple of hundred years of burning waste is not a very attractive solution, at least not for me. I was saying is that the reason I have a little bit of a feeling that covering houses with solar panels simply will not make much of an impact. You want to move into demands of gigawatts and megawatts. You need powerful generators, and for that one you need big units, and that is the thing that we are talking about. We are talking about gigawatts. That's the only existing system we can do that. Is really the concentrated solar power towers and the new types of nuclear power plants. Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to take the opportunity to clarify that concerning nuclear energy as a solution for climate change. I think this is just going into the wrong direction. We know very well that nuclear energy was a highly subsidized economy and is still all the costs concerning waste of nuclear energy utilization is just brought back to the governments and not taken really seriously by the industry.
Taking that, and therefore I would like to go into a different direction. The first option, and this is very clear, what we are also doing in the Thai-German cooperation on climate change, is we have to go for energy efficiency. We have, when we are sitting here in this room with a very well air conditioning, which is technically functioning obviously very well, but it is not the solution of for the whole society and also as a global utilization for doing that. There are better options. There are very simple options. There are also much cheaper options. And energy efficiency, and we did that in enterprises in Thailand, is also a very industry-oriented option because it creates directly savings for the business itself. And the second, I would contradict that that there are not enough options in the field of renewable energy. It is also a question how you organize it. When the ambassador mentioned the German case of renewable energy, you need a political decision supporting renewable energy. That does not mean that you have to heavily subsidize it. It is in Germany you set up a market system which is creating the additional costs we need for the development of renewable energy within the system within the tariff system for energy, and this is a solution you can take also in a country like Thailand quite easily, where you have the options. In the field of solar energy, we are not concentrating on photovoltaic solutions. In a country like Thailand, for example, solar thermal solutions are much more interesting and giving much more interesting solutions for the future. The other option, we had introduced the utilization of biogas in Thailand, which is now a booming sector in the country, and which is the foundation also for the participation of Thailand in the international carbon emission trade. These are the main parts where Thailand can create CDM projects at the moment. So I think there are a lot of solutions we have in the field of renewable energy and in the field of energy efficiency, which can vary on short perspective and also on a lower cost perspective contribute to climate change.
Thank you, Mr. Löst. As German ambassador, I do certainly agree with the director of my German Technical Cooperation Office regarding nuclear energy. But ladies and gentlemen, as this is such a popular question here in Thailand too, I really like to ask you to look at it and the government from a very practical point of view. I do not belong to those who are bedeviling nuclear energy. It might be a very sensitive, very important bridging technology to bridge energy gap. The first question which every society should ask its government when they want to introduce nuclear energy, where do you dump the waste? I find it quite incredible that many countries in the world today, in Europe, I think France is the one with the highest percentage,